Hi everyone! Thanks so much for joining me in the final episode of my Finding Your Fit series, where I'm teaching you how to find the clothing and sizes that work best for your body. Now, in this episode, the final episode, we're going over one of the most difficult things to shop for and finding what fits you, which is pants. So, if you have not watched my previous episodes, make sure to click and do that because I've gone over why finding your fit is so important and then how to find your fit for tops, dresses, and jackets. So, this is the final piece of the puzzle in order to get the right fit in your outfits and to show off your body in the best way. So, when it comes to finding your fit in pants, there are three major things that you want to take note of in order to find the right proportions and styles for your body. So, the first thing we're going to do, as we have with all these episodes, is we are going to take our measurements. Now, we've taken some of these measurements before, so you might be able to just use that information that you wrote on your previous worksheets and write them on this worksheet, which if you are watching on my website, you will find below me. If you are watching on a different platform, make sure to click to my website and you can get those worksheets to write these measurements we're about to take down. So the first thing that we are going to measure is our waist. Now we want to do this it's just a good measurement to have for us. Most of the time, your pants are not going to be hitting up as high as your waist. They're probably going to be falling before that, but it's just something you want to take note of. And to find your waist, what you're going to do is you're going to bend to the side, find where your natural crease is. That's where we're going to take this measurement from. So when you take the measurement, you could be pretty tight on your skin just to get a true measurement, and I'm normally around 27, depending on the day. Depending on how much pasta I ate. After that, we are going to take our hip measurements. And so our hip measurement is always lower than you expect it to be. For me, because I have a little bit of a butt, it definitely includes my butt, so you can see it's lower. And so for that, you're going to take that nice and tight. And I'm normally somewhere around 35. So you want to mark that down. The hip measurement's going to be really important when it comes to pants. After we have our hip measurement down, we want to get our rise. And so your rise is going to be something that's going to be of your taste to you. It doesn't have to be a specific number. I like to wear my pants up higher. So this is going to be like a traditional rise. Normally, if I remember correctly, this rise is 10 inches. And so you want to, in order to measure the rise that you like, there's no better way of saying it, but you got to go down to the bottom of your crotch, and then you'll measure up as high as you want your pants to hit. So these are hitting at about 10. And I feel really comfortable in these. I don't have the muffin top effect, and I don't normally have to yank them up or anything. I just feel comfortable. And these pants that I'm wearing have like a slimming panel, which is nice when you get into pants that are a bit higher versus a low rise, that you can get things like that. So you don't have to worry about what you eat. So rise is going to be really, really important. Especially depending on your body type. So if you have a longer torso, your rise is going to be really important, because if you get something that is a normal rise on most people, it's probably going to be too short for you. So make sure to take this measurement, again, from the crotch up as high as you want it to go. After we've got that, the last measurement that we need is going to be our inseam. And so your inseam is going to go from your crotch down to as far as you want your pant to go. And so when it comes to your inseam, some of it's going to be preference of where you want to have your pants hit. Also, depending on the style of pant you're wearing is going to dictate exactly what you want that number to be. So, for example, when you're wearing an ankle pant, it's obviously going to be a bit shorter than if you're wearing a flare, a pant with a flare, because pant with a flare you want to hit closer to the ground. An ankle pant you want to hit at your ankle. So that's going to be dictating it a little bit depending on the style of pant you want to wear. But basically you want to take that measurement from your crotch all the way down as far as you need to go, and then have that readily available. But something to think about with your inseam is that it's not a make or break issue unless you're tall when it comes to purchasing your pants, because let's say you're short and the inseam's long. Just remember you could get it tailored, or if we're talking about jeans or chinos, we're able to cuff those. So, sometimes you want a longer inseam. I like a longer inseam on my jeans because I like to cuff them. But on my ankle pants, it can be annoying if they're long, so just depends on what you're shopping for. So then the next thing to think about after we've gotten our measurements and we know what we're looking for. Oh, one other thing to go backwards on measurements. If you want to know what measurements are typical when it comes to rise or when it comes to inseams based on your height, make sure to get those worksheets and print those out because I have a chart of those there so you can see and match up what makes sense for you. So just a side note. But moving on to number 2, the next most important thing when it comes to finding the right fit in your pants is going to be recognizing and knowing what's comfortable for you. So when it comes to comfort, there's a couple things to think about. The first thing that we touched upon was the rise. So making sure you find a rise that's comfortable. If you want to make sure you don't have that muffin top feeling, you want the pants to be higher. Depending on your torso, you might need them to be higher as well. If you're more petite, you might need a shorter rise in order to have everything else fit you properly. So those are just things that you really want to consider is where is the rise that works best for you and having that measurement readily available. The second thing to consider for comfort is style. So right now, ankle pants are in. That's what's popular. That's what seems to work best with the types of tops that we're wearing. So an ankle pant is typically tighter on you, and then the tops we're wearing are typically more flowy, and so that makes sense. But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable. So if you are not comfortable in an ankle pant, then that's fine. You don't have to wear skinny pant and ankle pant, but what I would consider as a replacement would be a straight leg pant. So getting that same effect, giving you a little bit more width at the bottom, so a skinny would be tighter, the straight leg is going to be a little wider, but it's still going to create that same elongated effect and still make you look like you are up to trends with today. So think about what's comfortable for you when it comes to the style of pant you're wearing. The next thing for comfort is going to be the 2-finger rule. And so what I mean by that is you want to be able to fit 2 fingers between your skin and your pants, and the reason for that is bloat. You know that it happens. You know that after you eat some carbs or after you've had a long day or maybe you haven't had enough water that you might have some bloat, and you want to make sure that the pants are comfortable and have room for that. So if they're super tight, you might want to go up a size or have it let out a little bit in the waist so that you can have the fit comfortable for bloat, because it happens. And then the last thing that I kind of touched upon with rise is making sure that the front panel fits you well. So your front panel is going to be right here. And so things to take note of. If your front panel is puckering, so you've got the lines going sideways, it's just, it's just too tight. The 2 things about that could be either the pants are too tight on you or the rise could be too high for you. So again, this is where you're gonna want to try a couple rises, then take that measurement to figure out what works best for your body. Puckering could also depend on the fabric too. So the pants I'm wearing now, the fabric is a thin credible fabric. So it has Lycra and spandex in it, which is nice because it just means it's giving you some stretch and it's going to contour to your body a bit more. Versus if you have like a tweed or a wool or, a thicker material of pant, it's going to sit differently on you and it's not going to be as flattening and contouring to your body. So just things to think about if you see the puckering happening. Now conversely, if you sit down and you've got a ton of extra fabric here, then that means that those pants are too big on you. So again, this partially could be because of rise. It could be coming up too high, and based on your body, it's creating too much extra fabric here. But more often than not, you're probably going to want to go down a size in order to have them fit more perfectly and lay flat. So those are the 4 things we want to think about when it comes to comfort. We want to think about the rise, we want to think about the style, we want to think about having room for bloat, and then we want to have make sure that we're not having puckering or any billowing, that the front panel fits you well. So the next thing we're going to talk about, the third thing when it comes to finding your fit in pants, is going to be finding the fit that makes sense. The fit or the cut, you're going to see it written 2 ways, that makes sense for you. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I did a lot of research on this because even I have been confused when I walk into a store. And you go into the store and, this is really a thing for women where you see the Julie fit and the Amy fit and a fit that's modern and a fit that's classic, and it makes no sense. And then the descriptors of those fits make absolutely no sense, like ease through the hips and straight this way. And It's very, very confusing. So what I tried to do, and this is on the worksheet for you, so make sure to print this out, is I took all of the random words that are used to describe one cut of a pant, put them together so it makes much more sense. So when you're in the store, you can decode what the fit descriptions are. So what you want to do is figure out what works best for you, and the best way to do that is more often than not just trying on all the different fits, taking note, and then realizing, using the decoder to figure out which words are the words that fit best for you, and then knowing that moving forward when you shop for pants. But when it comes to different styles and fits, you're going to find one category that you'll see a lot of descriptors of that's going to be described in terms of the cut as modern, skinny, slim. Those three words are all meaning the same style. When it's talking about a skinny and a slim, it typically means, and the modern, it's going to be hugging you on your hips and in your thighs, and it's going to be creating this just form-fitting line down your body. Something else to note, though, that can be a bit confusing is that skinny and slim also refer to how the pants hit you at your ankles. So when it's skinny, it's going to be tight up against your ankle, and when it's slim, it's going to have a little bit more of a give there. So ankle, when it's skinny, it's going to be tight up against your ankle. Slim is going to have a little extra fabric here. So you're going to see them used in two ways. You're going to see them used to describe the cut of the jean or the pant, as well as a descriptor of how it hits you at your ankles. So just take note of that. I tried to put that information into the worksheet so that makes a bit more sense for you. The next cut option for you that you'll see often is a classic or a traditional or a straight description of it. And so what that means is that it is straight out from the hips, straight down to the ankles, which means it's not going to hug your leg as much. It's going to be, when we're talking about down by the ankle, that cut is typically going to have a little bit more room, so it's definitely not going to be tight up against your ankle. It's going to create an exact straight line from your hips down. So let's say in our calf, we're going to have some extra room versus a modern or skinny or slim fit is going to pretty much hug our calves. So I hope that makes sense for you. If not, leave me a comment because it can be really confusing. And then another option and thing to think about, so a modern, a slim, a skinny fit can be good for most sizes, depending on the fabric. Now, if you're in a fabric that is not like very stretchy, doesn't have some lycra or spandex in it like the ones I'm wearing, and you're in a thicker fabric, then a modern or skinny fit can be difficult for people who have a small waist but they have a button hips, because when it's a thicker fabric, it's not going to give as much, and since it is a straight, very tight, form-fitting fit when it comes to a modern and slim, the problem is that you're going to have that gapping back here. It's going to fit you in your hips and it's going to fit you in your butt, but it's not going to fit you in your waist. And so what you'll often see then is a curvy version. And so curvy means that it's going to fit you in your waist and then have the right proportions for your hips and your butt. So again, it can be super confusing. You might see a modern curvy fit, which again, it's going to hug you, but since it's got the curvy, it means that if you have a smaller waist and bigger hips and butt, that it was designed more to fit for you. So again, super confusing. Let me know if you have questions. The last option that you will often see is going to be a girlfriend or a boyfriend cut. And so those are going to be just more relaxed all around. They're going to create more of a straight line. They're going to be a little bit baggier and a little bit looser fitting, especially in the waist. But you're typically only going to see a girlfriend or a boyfriend cut when it's in reference to chinos or to jeans. So you probably are not going to see that kind of fit when it comes to a dress pant. Another thing to think about that can come in the classic traditional style is having more of a flare out. Right now that's not super popular. It might work for your body type. More often than not, you're going to be in that slim, straight, or skinny ankle version of a pant as of now, as of 2018. So I know that's a lot and that's a lot of information. So then the question becomes, okay, great, I have all this information. Where's the best place for me to shop for these pieces? And so I have to toot my own horn on this one. Like I've been describing, the pants I'm wearing, I actually sell in my mobile boutique. Like I said, they're a thin, cuttable fabric. They're a nice high rise, which is super comfortable. They're a dress pant, but they feel like you're wearing leggings and they fit you like a glove. So I highly, highly recommend those pants. Um, the other places that I would recommend getting dress pants are from Theory. They have some great pants. You can often find those at Nordstrom, and I also recommend their blazers, so you might be able to get the suit combo there. So that's really a really great option for you. Something to be concerned or aware of is a retailer like Loft. And so they put some kind of material in their dress pants, but unfortunately it makes them give tremendously. So you'll need to go down if you really want to buy one of their pieces and spend less money than you would on an investment pair that's going to last you a while. Then you want to make sure to go down at least 1 or 2 sizes. So you want to bring that trick of bring lots of options into the dressing room, try on lots of pieces to make sure you find what works for you. And remember your measurements, but just know that whatever the sizes that you try on at like a Loft or a Banana is definitely going to stretch out as you wear them out. So what I recommend is try to invest in your pants if you can afford to, and you can do that quality versus quantity, because at the end of the day, the quality pieces you're going to end up wearing for a longer time to use per wear will actually be better than getting something that's inexpensive now, but you have to replace every year. So just something to consider when you're finding the right pants for you. Now, as always, if you have questions, please leave me a comment. I want to know what your favorite part of this episode was, and thank you again so much for following me in your Finding Your Fit series. I hope it helped make a little bit more sense of what's going on today in this crazy industry where everything is sized differently and can be a real struggle for you to find what works for you. I hope this was really helpful, and if you have any other questions, just reach out and let me know. Thanks again so much, guys, for joining me, and I look forward to providing you with more solutions for finding your fit really soon. Thanks, guys.